Hi and welcome to PCMNorway Productions coverage of the Vuelta España. Today it's the 18th stage from Solares to Noja. The stage is 175 kilometers long and is fairly hard, and we might see some punchers go for the stage win today, or maybe even a breakaway. It's been some days since we had a breakaway stage win, and today might be the stage to do it. So as I said, the stage goes through Noja, and it's 175 kilometers long. And it was a bunch of breakaways attempt today, and the final group that got away was Silva Chavanel from Quickstep, Dario Caralto from Quickstep as well, and Enrique Gasparato from Astana, and Madrasu from Movistar was in the first group that got away from the peloton. Behind them was David Lelai from Ajudesur, Marazano from Lampre, and those two formed a duo behind the first breakaway group and never really managed to catch up. But at the first intermediate sprint in Corvea de Toranzo, it was Silva Chavanel in front of Greg van Avermaet and Genesis from Skill Shimano that captured 4, 2 and 1 points. They later on got captured by the peloton, and Silva Chavanel broke away once again to form that four-man group that is in the front of the peloton right now. But over Puerto de la Braviga, it was Caralto in front of Chavanel, Gasparato and Morzano, who captured 6, 4, 2 and 1 points. And then it was time for Alto del Caracol, and Caralto was once again in front of Silva Chavanel and Gasparato and captured 10, 7 and 5 points on that climb. And here you have it, today's breakaway, and they had at most 6 minutes and 54 seconds down to the peloton. The duo behind them had at the most 4 minutes and 23 seconds down to the peloton, and as the stage is going on live right now, they have been caught, and it's only the first group out in front of the peloton. And at the second intermediate sprint in Medio Cudeo, it was Silva Chavanel in front of Enrique Gasparato and Madrasu from Movistar, who captured 4, 2 and 1 points. And then the final climb before we go live is the climb up to Puerto del Alisas, and Caralto was in front of Madrasu, Chavanel, Gasparato, Lelai, Marazano, and then the Volder, Carpets and Niamek from the peloton captured the remaining points. Caralto then captures 16 points and reinforces his lead in the King of the Mountain jersey contest. So now it's time to end our recap footage and tune in live on today's stage of the Vuelta from Solares to Noja, 175 kilometers of hard work for the riders. Hi and welcome back to Breakaway. Got 35 kilometers to go until they are on the streets of Noja, and it's been a fairly hard stage so far with a bunch of attacks and a hard amount of racing, and the peloton is 3 minutes and 43 seconds behind. And I know some of you have been missing Jim Jones, surprisingly enough, so I've had him on the phone, and here we got his take on today's stage from Solares to Noja. So Jim, still out on other tasks for PCMNorway Productions, but you still got some time to be with us here in the Vuelta a España. So we are now at the 18th stage from Solares to Noja. The stage is 175 kilometers long. So Jim, your take on the 18th stage?
Well, I think it'll be like a classic finishing stage in like we've seen in Tour de France in some years. It will be a breakaway, getting away and having the lead for quite a long time. Then they'll get caught by the favorite group, where there might be a few sprinters there, Peter Sagan or perhaps Heinrich Hausler, and they will give Rodriguez a fight for the victory today, I think.
So Rodriguez is the man to look out for today.
Yeah, he's a puncher, you know, and he will definitely survive the hills and the mountains today. And he's got a good finish, so I think my bet will be on Rodriguez or Heinrich Hausler or Peter Sagan.
Okay, so thanks to you, Jim. We will hear more from you on tomorrow's stage from Noja to Bilbao. So take care. So that was the one and only Jim Jones and his predictions for the stage. Joaquin Rodriguez and maybe Peter Sagan. And while we were speaking to Jim, Joaquin Rodriguez, Michele Scarponi and a bunch of other guys attacked from the peloton as we are getting closer to Puerto de Fuente Las Varas. And Sylvain Chavanel just attacked from the first group with Michele Scarponi and Enrique Gasperato and Rodriguez. So we got a four-man group out in front, Scarponi, Rodriguez, Gasperato, Chavanel, and behind them is Madrazo and Dario Cataldo. So 20 kilometers to go for the first group. The duo behind them is 21 seconds behind as Vincenzo Nibali, Igor Anton, Dennis Menchov and all the others just captured them, and we are now favorite group out in front of the peloton, and we might see a select group finish as Jürgen van den Broek just got up to the first group, and it looks like it's gathering here now. And Enrique Gasperato is attacking. No, he's not, and Madrazo is countering on him, and Sylvain Chavanel is coming up there with them. So we now got a duo out in front of the peloton with almost 10 kilometers to go. If they can work together, Sylvain Chavanel and Madrazo might be the victorious people of today's stage. They might have to work a little bit hard together to make up enough time on the others. They have been working fairly good together so far, as they got 10 kilometers to go, and the peloton is 21 kilometers to go, but Sylvain Chavanel wants to go on his own, and Madrazo is trying to counter, but it looks like Sylvain Chavanel got a little bit of a gap on Madrazo, and he does. So Sylvain Chavanel is ahead of the field, and the peloton is chasing from behind there as Joaquin Rodriguez is attacking from the peloton, and they are capturing Sylvain Chavanel on this small hill as Andreas Klöden and Igor Anton are in that group as well. Andreas Klöden is taking the front with Igor Anton and Rodriguez on the wheel. They just left Sylvain Chavanel to feed for himself there. 5 kilometers to go for this group as Andreas Klöden is ahead of this group, and Vincenzo Nibali is attacking on the descent, and he is now out in front with 5 kilometers to go, and the peloton is 28 seconds behind. It must be less. We can see them from behind there as Vincenzo Nibali is opening the sprint with Andreas Klöden, Igor Anton and Joaquin Rodriguez on the wheel, but Bradley Wiggins is advancing on the left-hand side. Rodriguez is taking the front of the field now as Heinrich Hausler and Madrazo is coming strong. Daniel Moreno is there as well. Michele Scarponi? No, I think it was Rodriguez. Yes, it was Rodriguez in front of Scarponi, Hausler, Lastras and Daniel Moreno. It was a fairly close there. We can see it. It was very close there for Rodriguez, but he was the first man over the line, so Jim Jones's predictions was the correct one. Joaquin Rodriguez takes stage 18 from Solares to Noja, 175 kilometer long stage with a fairly bumpy route, and Rodriguez was the strongest. It was a lot of attacks on the last part of the stage, but Rodriguez was the strongest as Scarponi almost had him at the end there, but Rodriguez is today's winner in front of Scarponi, Heinrich Hausler, Pablo Lastras and Daniel Moreno. So Katusha, Lampre, Garmin, Movistar and Katusha again. Vincenzo Nibali is still in red, and Igor Anton should still be in the green, as Dario Cataldo is still in the King of the Mountain jersey. Rain Terame has enforced his lead in the youth classification jersey, and Geox should still be the best team. So if you like this 18th stage from Solares to Noja, I recommend you to press that like button, and if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. So come back tomorrow for the 19th stage of this year's Vuelta. It will go from Noja to Bilbao, and Jim Jones will put his predictions in for the stage as well. So I hope you enjoyed this stage. My name was Dick Henderson, and this was a PCMNorway Productions. Come back tomorrow. I recommend you do that. Adios.
Venga, va, una vueltecita más y ya.